Hey, what is up guys? This is Cobb and today I'm joined by an incredibly special guest, a man that I've been learning a hell of a lot from in my early months getting started in Mech Arena, and together with Ruffles we're going to be taking on the top 10 picks for free-to-play players in terms of guns, weapons that you want to be focusing on unlocking in your gear hub. How are you doing, man? Ruffles did.
I'm doing good, how about you?
Oh, pretty solid, man. I'm quite excited for this. I have been watching a lot of your videos in the past couple of months. You know, there's so much to learn in this game. I don't want to screw things up. But I should also mention as well, by the way, that Ruffles' channel is linked down below at the top of the video description box. If you are not subscribed to Ruffles, as soon as you're done watching this video, what I want you to do is click on that link that's down below, man. Subscribe to Ruffles' channel, and also check out the video that's going up on his channel as well. He's going to be covering the top 10 free-to-play mechs that you want to be aiming for on your account. It's going to feature me over there as well for the 5% of people that interests, but you want to head on over there, check out that video too, and make sure that you subscribe to Ruffles while you're over there, man. The guy's a hive mind, and this he'd help me out a hell of a lot, man, getting started in Mech Arena myself. So with that, I think we're good to start making our first picks, man. You should go first.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man.
In no particular order, I'm going to start with Podgun as my first weapon.
Okay.
Because this thing, it's so underrated. The thing that, like, one of the best pieces of advice I can give to anybody who's in tier 5 especially, and you're looking at the Podgun 8, it's for credits, it's pretty cheap. It's better than the Revoker 6, the Stormrack 6, like all of these other like super meta strong weapons. I would say that the Podgun's actually the better pick first off, because it's so useful. It's good for everything. Whatever it is that you put Podgun on is going to be your best mech, almost guaranteed, at least for quite a while. That's what I would say.
Damn, you put the Podguns ahead of the Revoker 6s, was that?
Yeah, honestly, because like at this stage of the game, what do you have that's able to use Revoker, like effectively? My mind goes mostly to skill versus spenders. What a lot of people have issues with is specifically the issue of people spending money. They have stronger stuff. You as a free-to-play player, you might have a Guardian in your hangar, but somebody else might have a Surge, which is just way better. It really is.
Oh, yeah.
They can use Revoker. They can brawl with it. They have really, really good mechs for that sort of thing, but what can you do, like, realistically?
Right.
Revoker 6s have been... They've proven really good on Zephyr, because it also has the EMP ability, but the EMP doesn't last for very long. Honestly, I think learning to play passively, learning to play to your strengths, and to not try to brawl with these other potential whales, or maybe it's just people who are just been playing longer than you. You know, learning to try to not brawl so much with people who have an advantage, because you're always going to lose a brawl.
Yeah, just poke them down. I gotta admit, the Podgun's like the easiest pick. Like, I completely agree. I got the Podguns on my... When I got Podguns for the first time on my Aegis, I was like, oh my god, dude. Like, I felt like a raid boss, you know? It was stupid, like the splash.
Specifically, that's the one I would go for. That, yep, absolutely.
That's
and
it,
it's
man.
Really easy, like you said, really easy to pick up and use too. So like, it doesn't matter how skilled you are.
That's it, man. Podgun 8s for credits. Yeah, can't argue with that. I guess that my picks in this are going to be a little bit on the cheaper side, kind of. Given that I've only been playing the game for a couple of months, so I can really only speak to guns that are like helping me out with progression, and that you're going to get value out of as more of like a beginner player getting started in the game. For me, and this was like a recommendation in the comments that I got, I was like, what have I got to lose? And I might as well listen to the comments, because they probably know what they're talking about more than me, man. But just any early stage of the Ember Guns, for me, was like the first decent pickup that I got, where I felt like, oh my god, this actually feels like a real gun, you know? It's not like a stasis beam or some piece of crap that you get like way in the beginning, you know what I mean? Like, the Ember Gun's a real gun. Yeah. So it's like Ember Guns on my Guardian mech. That was actually the first mech that I got. Was like, wow, I'm in free for all, and like, people have to be like scared of me a little bit, you know? I'm actually doing something now. And so yeah, the Ember Guns feel great. I think also particularly good for progression as well, because while you're going to be picking up things like the Revokers and like the Revoker 10s, for example, you can also get with credits, and like they're a great weapon that we haven't touched on just yet specifically. But when you get yourself your Revoker 10s, yeah, you can only equip one until you get the sucker up to 6 stars. That's going to take you a while when you're getting started, and so I find that on a lot of my close range mechs, I'm running like one Revoker, one Ember Gun, and I'm still getting use out of the Ember Guns for quite a long time after the fact. I am curious though, with like the later stages of Ember Guns, Do you continue to use these later on? Like, are they worth taking on up, or is it just all about Revoker? Like,
it's pretty much all about Revoker. Even in tier 4, when you're getting Ember Gun 8, it's also the tier with Revoker 6. And quite honestly, I'd use 2 Revoker 6s over a Revoker 6 plus Ember 8 combination. Ember Gun can be used as what I'd call a modifier weapon, which basically just you use as like a hybrid type thing.
Okay.
The weaken effect that it applies, if you use 1 Ember Gun and 1 Revoker specifically, then you can actually get higher DPS than if you were to use 2 Revokers. But in general, it's less effective versus like mod shields, which is one of the major things. One of the major reasons that people use Revoker. So in general, it's not super common, but it is very strong, like you said. And going for lower tier stuff. Even like the rare and all that got cheaper with the recent update. But even the epics, you spend less per tier star in terms of progression. So it's just a good one to go for.
All right, cool. Yeah, I see myself using them for a while longer, but I am doing my best to save up for the Revoke 8s and 12s right now with those damn A coins, man. Anyways,
man. Advice, don't spend A coins on 8 energy weapon.
Oh, just avoid that? Okay.
Just avoid it fully.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the 10s credits, the 6s credits, you could use a 10 and 6 to get that 16 energy instead of using 2 8s.
Right. Back over to you then, man. What do you got?
I'm going to go with minigun.
Ooh.
And I know I just said, like, I was just talking about, like, don't go for Revoker 8 because it's super expensive. This is a really expensive weapon.
Yeah.
This one... obviously, I still suggest don't buy the 6, don't buy the 8 because they cost a lot of A coins. It's not really worth the price point. The 10 on up are ones that you could go for, but all of them cost A coins. There's 0 miniguns that cost credits.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now.
Yeah, but to a large extent, it is worth it. It's basically the Revoker for slow mechs. It's got insane damage output, better range than Revoker, and it does suffer a bit of like multiple like built-in weapon downsides. Huge, massive reload. It has a turn penalty, so like your turns, you can't turn as quickly while you're firing it.
I see that.
A full second of ramp up speed. There's all kinds of downsides to this weapon that are built into it, but honestly, even that does not keep it from being a top meta weapon. It has just insane amounts of damage output. Looking just at like the 12, I maxed mine out. The damage per magazine, 500,000.
Yeah,
and that's for one without pilots. That's for one without pilots. So that means you can get to like 2 million damage output in a single mag of double 12s.
Yeah, when you say it like that.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you have everything else and you don't really know what else to go for, this is probably a weapon that I would consider getting.
Right.
But it's not really like a priority because, like I said, it's super expensive.
Yeah, but it just looks so fun though, dude. This is why it's so hard to save for
my
the things.
favorite weapon.
Like that's what I'm saying, bro. Like I know I should be saving, but then I see things like minigun, and I'm like, oh man, I could get the Revoker 12. That looks tight, you know. It's just it's so tough, man. It's so tough. But no, I mean, it looks absolutely insane. The only experience I have with the minigun is getting annihilated by some dude playing deathmatch on his Aegis, just camp in the middle of the map. Just oh my god, dude. Okay, I tell you what, man. You know what? I'm gonna go with one that's like super budget. And that, to be honest, I'm starting to fall out of love with it just a little bit, but I'm going to include it on the list anyway, just to see what you think of it, I guess. It's the one that's really easy to pick up. They all cost credits apart from the 12s and 16s. It's the first clue, but it's the Quantum Gun. Like, the earlier stages of Quantum Gun, it's so good for just progression, because you just pick it up with credits, it's whatever, you know? But also, I really enjoy how the rate of fire on this thing, like, okay, it's a sniper-style weapon, but the rate of fire, like, as a beginner player, you're having fun with, like, you know, like the EM rifles and stuff, just one-shotting people, and then mods become a thing, and it's like, that suddenly becomes absolutely trash. Like, any kind of, like, slow-fire rate weapon is just awful. And then the Quantum Guns come in and just kind of rescue you a little bit, or at least that's where I am on my account right now. So I find in basically every loadout that I've got, every hangar that I've got, there's at least one mech running the Quantum Guns. They're never my first choice, you know? Like, I ran them on, like...
for sure, yeah.
Yeah,
but like, it's better than a lot of other options, right?
Yeah. Like, I ran them on the Orion for a while because I had nothing better. But then I got the Storm Rex. It's like, okay, so the Cutting Guns get passed down to, like, the Stalker Mech or something, you know? So, like, they're slowly working their way out of my hangar. But I feel like they serve me really, really well, at least in the super early game. I think it goes without saying that these things probably aren't used beyond a certain point, right? They fall off pretty quick.
Honestly, yeah. The thing with it is like, well, I did get these on my free-to-play account as well, but I think I kind of waited a little bit too long to get them, because when I got them, they were pretty much immediately not very useful. But it's one of those things that, like, it actually probably gets slightly more useful over time.
Oh?
Just because of the amount of mods that you encounter.
Right.
And so long as you have heavy enough energies of this weapon, it's got a lot of ammo. It's got the multiple different stacking effects, the stasis and the weakening.
It was pretty good,
and so, like, in general, it's not the worst. And it does get, I would say, probably more valuable over time and more valuable with the larger energy variants. But there's just way better options that are just available to you at that point. So, yeah, it's one of those things that you definitely could skip over if you wanted to, but if you're gonna get it, I absolutely would go for the 8. And, well, maybe not the 6, but I'd definitely go for the 8 in tier 4.
Yeah.
Because when you first get it, it will be pretty good. It will be pretty good and handy.
All right, tight. I don't feel too bad about picking those up there. I did go for the 10 as well, but yeah, I got the 8 and the 10 in the end. I think I'll probably leave it there for a while, but...
That's fair. I mean, yeah, buying those weapons with 8 coins, you kind of know that you're not going to get... You kind of know that it's not a great investment, so...
Yeah. Even in my early stage, I kind of cotton onto that. Back over to you, man.
All right. I'm going to go with Stormrack. I'm going to take a look at the 6. The very common question, because a lot of people, I'm not going to say everybody, but a lot of people know at this point that Stormrack and Revoker are the two most meta weapons in the absolute, like, late stages of the game. Okay. And that's true, and they're both very, very strong even early on as well. The thing that makes Stormrack super meta late game is mostly the reload implant, the legendary one, because it reduces your reload by half, 50%.
Oh, wow.
Which gives you 5.5 second reload time on some very good damage, some very heavy damage. It has a radius. Radius weapons usually do well because so long as you can aim it properly, then you can always get that back damage multiplier on enemies. And that just works very well. It's also a burst damage weapon. Burst damage is good because it gets out a lot of firepower without having to expose yourself and to take a whole lot of fire. But between the two, for an early game player, I would say Stormrack's probably better than Revoker in terms of, like, which one you're going to get first. Getting both is obviously great, but again, it's a matter of, like, can you out-brawl these guys that have better stuff than you? The answer is usually no, so you have to resort to tactics like pod gun homing, long range, radius from Stormrack, for example. And that's just it's a really solid way of getting around that. And yeah, arguably the most common weapon to see late game, Stormrack.
Damn, I didn't know it went so far into the late game. I mean, it's really, really good from what I'm using it right now. The mistake I made is for the first, like, month or so of my account, I was playing exclusively with the aim assist feature, you know? And then I got the Stormracks. Yeah, I got the Stormracks, and I was like, wow, this gun doesn't feel so good, man. What the hell's wrong with me, you know? And of course, I got, like, a deluge of comments begging me to disable my aim assist. And, like, now I get it, you know? Now I get it, yeah. It's insane.
Yeah,
I can use
it
my Orion.
So important, but nowadays, yeah, like, you just have such a... you have such an advantage by not using the aim assist feature.
Yeah. Okay, man. Next pick. You know, I was actually... I was just gonna go with the standard javelins because they're so good in the mega early game. Unlike the slingshot, I'm talking like the first week or two of your account. You know, like when you're very first to get started. But I think you can throw helixes and javelins kind of into the same pool. If I can find them on my screen, where the hell, dude? Yeah. Oh, there they are. Love these things.
Sure.
I was like, man, how much of an upgrade can the helixes really be over the jabs? You know, it can't be that big of a deal, man. It's like, no, it's a pretty huge deal. I don't know. I think these things are insane. I actually use the Helix Rex on my Stalker mech, which is going to be the mech that gets axed from my hangar, probably, when I pick up Surge. I think it's going to be the one to go, but I feel like it served me well. But yeah, like, Helix Rack on Stalker, that burst damage, like, you activate the 50% extra damage on Stalker, and you take extra damage, but it doesn't matter if you're playing with guided missile, you just hide anyway, you know, it's like not a big deal.
Exactly.
Yeah, the best damage is
And
just
you're
great,
boosting
man.
some pretty decent damage output. No, it's a pretty decent like guided platform for sure.
No, it's not bad at all, man. There's not a whole lot to say about it besides that. Besides, yeah, the damage can just be a huge best of damn. Other than the lower ranks of Helix, of course, you're up against modded enemies at some point, stuff like that. You're gonna have some sad times with it, tunneling damage into mods, but,
Yeah.
but besides that,
If you can one shot them with like a double salvo or something, then you're chilling. But if you can't one shot them, then you kind of have a problem a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Drawback.
Yeah, the like never the weapon that I open the round with, I guess is the way that I put it. Like,
Right.
I try and make sure that the guy with the mods is dead, or at least on his like third mech or something before I eventually switch over to him, and that seems to help a little bit. Seems to alleviate the problem, at least where my account's at right now, you know.
Another quantum gun situation. Not necessarily the best, but it's better than some other options you got.
Yeah. That's it, man. That's my 4th pick.
I'm gonna go with Revoker. Everybody's been waiting for it at this point. Everyone knew it was coming.
Yup.
Revoker, obvious pick. It's the most egregiously obvious meta weapon that exists. Like I said before, actually Stormrack's more common to see in the absolute late game. You're gonna see people with 2 or 3 Stormrack builds and then only like 1 or 2 Revoker builds, not the other way around. So technically Revoker's slightly less common like individually, but just the extent of damage that it does is so disgusting.
Yeah.
That I don't think anyone can really like say anything against that. Like you kind of have to acknowledge it.
Do you think it's gonna get nerfed eventually?
But I don't know. I know that they don't like to nerf things, but I also know that they have nerfed things in the past. It's possible. It'd be pretty hard to nerf it without like fundamentally changing the mechanics, honestly. And people have said, well, you could nerf it by just giving it less maximum range. It has 39 meters maximum range. Like, you can get some really good maximum range out of it, but the thing that people don't really consider is that at longer ranges, it takes longer for the bolt to fire, then to come back, then to fire again. So you're actually better off with, point blank as close as possible.
Yeah.
And so even if they reduced the range down to 5 meters, I think it would still be a top meta weapon. Like they'd have to nerf damage. They'd have to set like an RPM where like there's like a short cooldown period between each bolt firing. That's the only way to like realistically nerf it. And so it's a great weapon to grab if you can. But like I said earlier, like it's kind of not, especially as a free-to-play player, it's kind of not your top priority because you don't usually have anything that's capable of making great use of that. Like really close range brawler type of thing, except for maybe Zephyr.
Right. Okay. Christ, I mean, that gives us one... Oh god, it's my last pick. Okay.
It is your last pick.
This is actually really tough, man. To be honest, like I bought some guns along the way that that people recommended in the comments, stuff that I wasn't that blown away by, like early act torrents and stuff. I felt like I used them for like 3 days and was like, and then I got the Ember guns. And then I was like, well, I'll start using Ember guns instead. I didn't touch on the cryo launchers. Yeah, you know what, man? I think I'm gonna actually call. Yeah, I'll call the cryo launchers my next pick. Hang on, I've got a couple picks left. I think I'm just losing track. Cryo launcher 6s. I've got the 6s and the 10s. Love these things. It took me way too long to buy them, but when I eventually did grab them, I now find that I used like they're another one of those that's not like the highest priority gun again for me to have equipped up on my guys, but I feel like they never kind of disappoint. Like I used them on the Ares for a while, stop using the Ares, and now they appear on, I kind of rotate them sometimes. It depends if I want to use the pod guns on Volty, who, god, unfortunately I got. But he's fine.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, he's fine, he's fine, but
it'll work itself out.
Yeah, it'll be fine. So like I'm alternating the cryos and the pod guns between Aegis and Volty, like whoever just I feel like putting the pod guns on at that time. But yeah, they're a fine gun. I like the debuff. The damage is okay. But again, it's mostly like a rate of fire thing, like the burst fire for taking on modded enemies and just being annoying to people who have way more mods than me, because I don't have a single 6-star mech, so I don't have any mods, so being able to at least being able to like debuff and compete with people who just have way more powerful stuff than me. These just do a pretty good job. It's kind of similar to the quantum guns, I guess, in that sense. Again, is this a gun that tends to fall off, or is it okay?
It's pretty decent, actually. It's in my top 5 weapons for multiple different mechs, to be honest, because it's just got decent damage output. The stasis effect can be genuinely useful for certain things. The range is good. It's got the radius. It's basically like a budget storm rack, essentially.
Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Makes me feel a little bit better, man. Okay, we won't hang about. Straight on back over to you then, man. What do you got?
All right, this is my last one, I think.
Yeah.
I saved this one for last because it's a little bit controversial, maybe. I'm going to go with Graviton Beam.
Oh my goodness.
The only reason it's not like a top weapon in like meta competitive gameplay is just the number of mods that you see. It's pretty weak against mods, but in general, like even just for casual play, even at like my main account's squad power range, which is like 14 to 15,000, I can still get some very, very good use out of this. It only really requires one implant, really, really solid damage, very good for suppression. I'd say up until like the 13,000-ish squad power range, you could do very, very well with Gravitons. So it's not necessarily like super, super long term, but I would say it's in my top 5 free-to-play weapons.
Oh wow, top 5. Okay. All right, that makes me feel a bit less than about picking some of those up. I did just kind of, I just kind of splurged out some of that YouTuber budget and thought, you know what, I'm just gonna buy the pack that gives like all 3 of the Graviton beams, get it done, because I know I want to make videos using these in future, you know? So I was like,
nice.
I'm just gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
What rank did you get them at?
Oh, rank 4s.
Rank 4. Okay. Yeah, the unfortunate thing with like the 10 and higher energy weapons is that you can't use 2 of them unless you get it to rank 6.
Right.
And yeah, so that costs a little bit of extra. And the 10 you can actually buy with credits in terms of Graviton. It's one of those things that I do recommend most people. It's in tier 6, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I do recommend most people in tier 6 to get the Graviton 10s. They work very well on like mechs like Panther.
Yeah, they just seem like a really fun weapon more than anything. I think what actually made me get them was like, oh my god, I need to do a video on these. It was a video, I think it was a video on your channel actually, that you made on...
Oh, really?
You were trying to find good guns for Zephyr, I think it was. And you tried like
an old video, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
that was a pretty old video, and actually at the time it was a really solid weapon. Graviton used to be a meta weapon, but mods kind of tore it down a bit because because each of the implosion effects only takes down 1 layer of a multi-layered mod, which is terrible, as you know.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it also all of the implosion effect is kind of as like extra damage. So if anyone has a galvanic hull, it'll just absolutely fully absorb all of that damage output as well.
Yeah, the extra bomb.
But it's long enough range, has really good like uptime, and the implosion damage is so high that like even disregarding that, I would still count it a pretty solid weapon.
It'll pay off eventually, I'm sure, man. I'll come to unregret my purchase. It's gonna be fine. Okay.
Yeah, just convince yourself enough.
Yeah. So for my last pick, I'm in like a little bit of a dilemma. Do I go back and just start like fragment guns when you're just getting started and stuff? I don't know. Probably not. I've already mentioned Embers. It feels like a bit of a cheat. So I suppose my last pick is actually going to be more of a question, because I just want a big, meaty, heavy-duty gun on my account. Let's just say hypothetically anyway. Okay, I'm not going to commit to nothing.
Sure.
But you talk about like the miniguns, right? Look awesome, I agree. They all cost A coins. It's a problem. And so are the chain guns a worthy substitute in any shape or form with their ramp-up time? Because they have crazy ramp-up time as well.
Sadly, no.
You wouldn't recommend it all?
Actually, I think the chain gun is better in terms of ramp-up time because it takes, I think, still a full single second to get to max RPM. But you're actually firing slowly while you're ramping up. So
True.
But the sad part about chain gun is not the DPS, really. The DPS is fine. It has really good accuracy as well, but the reload time is a bit high for the amount of damage output that you have, and the mag size is a bit low for the amount of damage output that you have. So, like, all in all, it's a pretty bad weapon. I'd put it in, like, probably, it's at least bottom 10 weapons.
Oh yeah, it's only 100 magazine size. Yeah, I didn't actually notice that. I thought it was a little more, surely.
No, yeah, if it had like double magazine, same as minigun, it'd probably be pretty good. But sadly, no, I would not recommend anyone getting it.
Oh god damn. Well, I was hoping I was hoping I'd be able to pick that up for credits, but it just means I've got to save up for miniguns after the surge. Then in that case, I suppose. Okay, This was actually very, very educational for me as well, man. So I do appreciate this. Of course, I can only speak to the super early game, so knowing what to aim for in my account is like becoming an increasingly big deal at this point now. So
especially considering how much stuff costs, yeah.
yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, as you get later on, the air coins, my god, dude. Thanks for this, dude. I will say that to everybody watching, make sure to go ahead and click on the link down below at the top of the video description box right now, man, because as you're watching this video, Ruffles' video will already be up on his channel as well, and we're going to be talking about the top free-to-play mechs over there. Also, again, me covering the more early game stuff that you can look to grab if you're like a beginner player getting started in your first month or 2 or 3 or whatever in Mech Arena, and then Ruffles covering the more advanced stuff. Make sure to click that link right now and join us over there, man. Ruffles, thanks so much, man. Any final words?
No. I mean, click the link description.
Simple. Boom. We'll see you guys there, man.